Rev up your engines!
Mazda now has an EZ6 electric vehicle for less than $20,000. Amazing, right? There's only one catch. You got to be Chinese and live in China, because they're only selling them in China now. They're not selling them here in the United States. But the fact shows, if Mazda can build these things for less than $20,000, they're going to bring them over here. It's always the lowest priced cars that sold the most. Now, there's certain exceptions, like for a long time, Toyota's biggest seller was the Camry. Not their cheapest car, but one of their best built. But normally, it's the lower priced cars that they sell the most of. Now, it's not like this is a crappy little electric car either. They can go up to 372 miles on charge. Now, that's not the $19,800 one, but still, it's only $24,000. So still, pretty low price vehicle that can go that far. And they claim it can charge from 30 to 80% in 15 minutes. So they can charge up relatively quickly. Of course, you have to have a fast charger for that too. Now, realize this isn't totally a Mazda, okay? Mazda's got a deal going with the Chinese, right? This car is based on the Changan's hybrid platform. It's a Chinese company. But I'm sure these things are made in China, right? So they're actually Chinese cars. Mazda gets involved, saying it's a Mazda, and sell them. So, of course, if they were selling in the United States, they say, oh, they're Mazdas, they're Mazdas. But if they're making them in China, it would still be, the tariffs they're talking about. They wouldn't be bypassing any of that stuff. That's the problem today. When you're buying a car, you got to do a lot of research. Who's actually making this car? Where is it made? You need to do a lot more research than, oh, it's a Mazda. It doesn't mean anything. Just like, oh, I got a Toyota Supra. It's just a BMW. It's not a Toyota, right? You got to do a lot of research when you're buying a car. They say, but if they can make a nice looking SUV that, hey, costs less than $20,000, that's something. Well, Toyota's announced that they're going to spend almost $1 billion in a Kentucky facility. They say that it's going to be for painting and perhaps for electric vehicles. Now, this also comes on top of their announcement of a new Georgetown facility that was $1.2 billion that they say is going to make an all-new 3-row battery electric SUV by 2026 in the United States. Now, as for electric cars, who knows what the future is going to bode for them? Will it be good? Will it be bad? No one really knows with the modern administration and with what's going on, but Toyota's no foolish company. They're worried about tariffs. Guess what? They're not going to put tariffs on factories that are in the United States. Toyota started that a long time, as did Honda. Honda's been building cars for like 30 years in Ohio, right? And they make good cars there. And they don't have to worry about a tariff there. They're built in Ohio. As for example, Toyota Kentucky now employs 10,000 people. So they're giving jobs to Americans. They're not going to put tariffs on them. I had a Toyota that was made in Kentucky. It was a great car. Ran and ran and ran and ran. My sons learned how to drive on it, and then we sold it to a girl in the Peace Corps after they were done driving around. So yeah, they're not a stupid company. They're, hey, if you build them in America, guess what? They're not going to complain. No one's going to complain about it. Something I would foresee would be Chinese companies building cars in the United States. That would be a radical change. Right? Instead of building them in China, build them in the United States like the Japanese have been doing for quite some time. You got to laugh your rear end off at this one. Carlos Tavares, of course, resigned from Stellantis as the CEO, right? He finally broke his silence. He's saying, what happened? Now, you got to laugh at this one. Tavares says he left because of differences in strategic directions. Well, his direction was different than other people thought, so he left, right? No, not that they make crap that falls apart and it costs too much money, especially his stuff in the United States. Their sales are down the toilet. Expensive Jeeps that fall apart when you get in a... No. It's not that they make crappy vehicles that cost too much. It's they have a different strategic direction, so he stepped out. What a line of horse manure. Here we go again from the rich people, right? They screwed up Royal, and then he says, what's the difference in strategic direction? Doesn't have anything to do with it. We make crap, we charge too much money for it. A lot of the insiders said that Tavares' goals are either unattainable or harmful to the company's long-term stability. And if you ask anybody who's involved in building them, I know people who work in these factories, right? All they wanted to do was produce stuff, sell it as expensive as possible. They weren't slowing the assembly line down with there's a fault, and then let's say, no, just keep building them, right? And then people get crap For a lot of money, it doesn't work. And that's what's wrong with the company. Not differences in their strategy. His strategy was cut costs, fire people, cut quality, and raise the price. Well, during coronavirus, it might have worked. When there weren't enough cars, they could charge you whatever they want. But now things are getting kind of back to normal in the automotive business, and people will price around. They want a good price, and they want a quality vehicle. And Jeep and Chrysler, Stellantis, they have none of those. That's the real problem. Not, we have differences in strategies. No. You make crap and it costs too much money. End of story. Now, I was reading some stuff about money, and you might not think, but money affects the price of cars an awful lot. For example, when Lexus first made their 400, it was supposed to be like a sub $30,000 car. And they were more like $40,000 because of the difference in the price of the Japanese yen and the US dollar. Well, today, I was reading this article. It says the yen is on the longest losing streak since June. People actually buy money. There's money. You can actually buy money. You're betting whether it goes up or down. It's just insanity, right? But there is a big advantage to the Japanese that their yen becomes worth less compared to the dollar. Because then Americans will buy more Japanese products, Japanese cars, because they cost us less. Because our money's worth more than theirs. Now, England, ages ago, who knows what they're doing now, they artificially kept the pound high, that their companies could buy stuff because the pound is worth more money. They get a better deal buying things from other countries. But nobody bought anything from England because that meant everything in England cost more. And of course, English production, just about everything's gone down the toilet. They hardly make anything that anybody buys anymore, right? If you've ever followed it, the Chinese currency, the Chinese communists have kept it artificially low for quite some time. Chinese Communist government has artificially devalued it to induce higher exports, of course. If their money is artificially low, that means our dollars will buy more of their crap, and we buy all this Chinese crap. That's one of the reasons we got all this Chinese crap, because it's cheap. And one of the reasons it's cheap is because the Chinese have artificially kept their monetary system worth less, even though it should be more. But it's a communist country, so they can control that stuff, right? Now, how long can that stuff go on? Of course, it reeks of economic insanity where it hurts the Chinese inside buying stuff from outside, right? But it doesn't affect them inside China. Of course, they make a lot of their own stuff. China realizes the largest automotive market in the world now. More people buy cars in China. The United States is number 2, right? So it doesn't hurt them there. They're in their own country buying it. It doesn't bother them, but it makes their stuff cheaper. So in the case of Japan, and their yen is lower, guess what? It's better for them to be able to sell their products to other people. Like, that's one of the things that killed Great Britain. They kept the pound artificially high, and nobody was buying their stuff because it was too expensive. Well, China built wind turbines. They said they're the most powerful ones they have with typhoon-proof blades. Guess what? The blades are breaking now. Now, this is the world's largest single-capacity wind turbine, say the Chinese. It was installed in August. 3 months, the blades are breaking. So much for their typhoon-proof blades. That's the problem with all this new technology. They promise you the moon, but then you get 10 feet off the earth and something goes wrong. They had the same problem in the stupid ones they were building off the coast of Rhode Island, Massachusetts. The blades broke. The pieces of fiberglass got on the beaches. People couldn't go swimming. People were furious about it. They had to stop construction. Don't ever believe the horse manure these companies are selling you. It's just like the stock market. They'll give you all these lies about how great a company is, which they're just making up. And then when a company goes bankrupt, even if it was fraud and they lied about it, your money's gone down the toilet. And in this case, the money is almost always government-backed stuff. All this wind turbine stuff, there's always the government involved somewhere. Now, the Chinese government said that these can withstand the fury of typhoons. Well, they haven't had any typhoons there yet the blades are broken. That's all I gotta say. Now, these are the largest ones, and the blades are breaking, right? You can imagine the huge things are going flying off of these. Hey, if it's the largest one ever made, that means they never made one that big, which means one has never been tested in the real world yet until now. And then in 3 months, the blades are breaking already. I can't help but laugh at this stuff because it is a cosmic joke. If you think we're going to get our electricity from the wind, you can try stuff, but hey, it's not proven. The blades are breaking all the time. These are typhoon-proof. They haven't even had a typhoon yet and they're broken. What's going to happen when a typhoon comes flying through? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.